Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So interesting week this week because we didn't follow the trends of the last 2 weeks, but we had some ups and downs. So looking at the numbers, so in Georgetown last week, we had 19 sales, which is a high number for Georgetown. Anything 12 and under is sort of normal. After that, it starts to get in the higher realm. So 19 sales last week. In terms of new listings, we only had 15 new listings, which is down. It felt like we had a lot coming on, but there was only 15 new listings. So that actually means inventory is going to be down in Georgetown, which is definitely not the trend that we were seeing. So that is interesting. In Acton this week, we had 4 sales, not as high as the 2 weeks prior, but still quite a few sales in Acton. And there were 6 new listings. So that market is really moving there. Glen Williams had no sales, but 3 new listings. That's a really big week for Glen Williams. Normally, we're lucky to get 1 new listing there. Granted, most of them were bigger ticket items like 2.5 plus, but to have 3 new listings there is quite a bit. Limehouse had 1 sale and no new listings, and the rural market had no sales and 2 new listings. The only thing really to note amongst all of that is of the 24 sales in Halton Hills last week, 17 of them got over asking. So that is a very high ratio of properties selling over asking. It's just showing the kind of demand that we're still seeing right now. It will be interesting to see if that starts to die down and starts to become impacted by the interest rate announcement. But so far things are still very busy and the far majority of properties are selling in multiple offers over their asking price. So looking at active inventory, all of Halton Hills last week was at 129 and this week we're at 129. So some markets are up and some are down, but the overall inventory in Halton Hills remained the exact same this week at 129 active listings. In Georgetown this week, we are down to 70 active listings from 75. So we saw quite a drop in the Georgetown market. But now looking at price points, again, that's an up and down thing. So under 800,000 went from 12 down to 10 active listings. Majority of those are condo apartments. I think there's 1 condo townhouse available and then a couple freeholds that are sitting under that 800 mark. So there's still stuff to be purchased under 800. 800 to $1 million is down from 10 to 9 active listings. So that's a very low number for that pocket. It's still our busiest pocket. Another big drop was seen in the 1 to 1.5 million range. So that went from 22 down to 17 active listings. We saw a pretty big spike last week in that price point, but no surprise when we see a spike sometimes when the market's this busy, we see it go down the next week because those properties are selling pretty well right now. So 1.5 million plus, however, is up. So they were at 31 active listings last week, up to 34. That's a very big number for that price point. 15 of those are under 2 million and the rest of them, so more than half of those properties are over $2 million. So there are people that are seeing how busy the market is and they're trying to fetch those big dollars again. I still don't think there's a ton of buyers willing to spend 2 million plus on what I'll call a subdivision home. The market's still not really there yet, but I know people are dipping their feet and putting their houses back on the market in that pocket. So 1.5 million plus is definitely our price point that isn't moving as quickly and is starting to see inventory really pile on. So we'll be watching that price point, but I still don't think, even as busy as the market is, I still don't think we're gonna start to see things rapidly selling in that pocket, but the lower pockets are still moving very quickly and inventory is turning over. If you're pricing your house right, it is selling and it's generally selling for more than the list price. So looking at Acton this week, Acton went up from 18 to 20 active listings. So we hit that 20 mark in Acton again. We were sitting very low for a while, but we're back into 20, maybe 20 plus by next week. So lots of inventory available in Acton and a bunch of stuff over $1 million too. It's not, just that lower price point in Acton that's sitting. There's quite a few new listings over that $1 million mark this week. Glen Williams is up to 8 active listings from 5. That's a lot of listings for Glen Williams. Again, there's a couple of them under 2 million, but most of them are north of 2.3 million and north. There's a couple in the 3 million plus range too. Limehouse is down to only 1 active listing from 2, and the rural market hit 30 again, so we're at 29. We're up to 30 active listings in the rural market. So overall, the market is still moving really well. I don't think the effects of the interest rate announcement last week are going to be felt for a little bit. It feels like when we look at the numbers, it feels like we're shifted a month. So all the stuff that's kind of happening now is what was happening last May. So it's going to be interesting to see if when we, keep going here in June, but as we get into the summer, if we start to see that inventory pick up. But we generally see low amounts of new listings in July and August because people are sort of in summer mode. So I don't know if we're actually going to see a massive inventory climb or not. Fundamentally on paper, based on how the last few weeks have gone, it appears that more listings are coming on the market and that trend might continue. But for now, I'm not 100% convinced. But either way, sales are still happening. New listings are coming on, but not as rapidly as the last few weeks. So let's see what happens next week and see if we can see if that trend towards higher inventory is going to continue. So I will be back next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.